Just we came to Matre Mandir, na? That Aravil Mandir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Dr. Clay. Okay, 603. I can do that. Yeah. Yeah. Can we start? Akla, are you ready? Can we start? Okay. Okay. Then we'll just do it. Good evening to all. On behalf of the organizing units IEEE Computer Society, ACM, and CSI, I extend a warm welcome to our today's speaker, Professor Sanjiva Shankar Dubey, Ms. Shivani, Senior Editor at PHA Learning, who is facilitating this series of author speaking webinars, including the today's one on the topic Emerging Technology and Innovation in Post-COVID World. Emerging technology and innovation around it is fast creating new disruptive models for business. For example, these disruptive models have been led by Google, Amazon, Airbnb, Uber, and others. The majority of world economy companies are getting impacted and they want to explore the platform for business opportunities. This webinar aims to provide the concepts and the challenges in implementing emerging technology and innovation across the business. I have great pleasure in introducing the speaker, Professor Sanjiva Shankar Dubey. Professor Dubey is an alumnus of NIT Jamshedpur, having done his BTech in Mechanical Engineering. He continued his PG Diploma in Business Management in Finance and Systems at XLRI and his MBA at the Faculty of Management Studies, University of Delhi. His professional experience includes senior IT positions in Tata Steel, HCL Technologies, IBM, Rafael Software Solutions, Bhilwara Infotech. As IBM Asia Pacific Service Delivery Executive, he was managing IT for 17 countries, involving 250,000 IBMers across 5 time zones. Currently, Professor Dubey leads the online education at Birla Institute of Management Technology, that is popularly known as BIMTECH. He has been a visiting professor since 1987 at XLRI, IIMs, SP Jain at Dubai and Singapore, BIMTECH, IMI, IMT Ghaziabad, and few other leading business schools. Professor Dubey has authored 13 management books, including the one on technology and innovation management, published by PHA Learning, whose first chapter is being made available to all the attendees and registrants. Our thanks to Ms. Shivani, the management and the management of PHA Learning for this gesture, and also extending special discount of 30% on print book and 25% on ebook while purchasing the book at the PHA website to all. With this brief welcome and introductory note, I would like to request now Professor Dubey to take over and deliver his presentation. Over to Professor Dubey, please.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mohan, sir. And thanks to all the organizers, CSI, ACM, and IEEE for inviting me. And many thanks to Shivani for facilitating it, because I can start with a small story. I started writing books about 15 years ago. And whenever I will go to a publisher, they will say, well, how many copies you will buy? So I will say, no, I will not buy any copy. Then they will say, will you be able to put in the textbook? I say, well, I am in industry. I can't put in the textbook. And I used to visit the book fair, in Delhi. And I met a PHI colleague, Mr. Malayaji, and he said, where is your manuscript? So my manuscript was there. And that's how my journey started. And my first book, which was published in 2009, has sold many thousand copies. And this is the second and third book with PHI I continue to write. The first book has come out 4 editions. The second one has come second edition. So there are 6 or 7 iterations we have done. But basically, I come from the industry. So I look at from the implementation side of the technology. So while I have become academician now, I got involved in many academic activity. But my view of technology is always realizing its potential, not just talking about its potential. I remember technology is like the children's clothing, okay? Or it will always fall short, okay, in coming years. So after some time, like whatever, our parents used to buy one size more because in our growing years, and that will become short after 1 or 2 years, okay. And the parents, we are all middle class, so they will say, "Oh, bahut jaldi badhta hai," and all that. So, but same thing is about technology. Whatever technology we will adopt today, tomorrow it will be not adequate. Okay. So at one point in time, having a laptop used to be the biggest asset, 20 years ago. Today, the mobile phone, you can do everything. So with this backdrop, I will start. I will share few slides and just to structure our discussion. And I will pick up some of the slides which from the book. Uh, so before I go forward, I wanted to thank Professor Mohan for giving such a illustrious, such detailed description and introduction. So I just want to say two lines in Hindi, of which I have tried to translate just now using Google Translate. That I don't that कुछ भी तो मेरे पास नहीं, जो कुछ भी है वह खास नहीं, पर जब से मैं मिला तुझसे मेरा मन कभी उदास नहीं. So I am very conscious of the time we are going to spend of an hour. There are 50 plus participants here. A lot of hours have gone in the planning, and I'm sure it will end up with spending 200-300 hours, man hours. And these man hours are very, very precious because the most important asset of our life.
70 plus,
Yes, sir.
70 plus, and more of the on YouTube streaming. So 300 people.
Okay, so you want me to repeat?
No. Please go on. Please go on. I just wanted, when you said 50, I just wanted to give a update.
Okay, you're correcting my number. Right. So I just saw 75 here. So it may be much more. So
Yeah.
thanks for correcting me. So I just wanted to share this. So we are spending this time 1 hour, and I would like to give whatever best I can so that you can take back some action. Whichever field, whichever profession, whichever you are, you take back some action. And these times are very difficult times, These times, as the entire humanity has gone through a major challenge of loss of life, disruption in supply chain and stoppage of travel, a fear. All of us are very fearful of going out, contacting people. The entire world has become very, very difficult place because of this virus. And people say that, look, today the news says that the Delta variant has started taking lives in Maharashtra and other places. So these are very difficult times, and it has deeply impacted the economy. The economy has has suffered. A lot of people have lost their job, and gross GDP has gone down. So a lot of things have happened. However, every adversity which comes up, every catastrophe comes up, the human race is required to gear itself to fight with the adversity. Okay, most technological development have happened during the adversity. Just think about the polio. I mean, how the polio was, because a lot of people children were having problems. So the people, researchers came, put together their minds. India's green revolution. I grew up in India where the food scarcity was very common. Milk, having good milk was very difficult. So people like Dr. Swaminathan and Varghese Kurians, these people, great luminaries who made a lot of research, and they fought the adversity, and today we are self-sufficient in milk and food, everything. So I would like to give the first message here is that treat any adversity or adverse situation as an opportunity. Okay? So like it is said, necessity is the mother of invention. I would just add is that the pandemic is the mother of innovation. So if you look around, you will find there are a lot of innovation going on in various fields, and all of you go. So meanwhile, I am opening up a poll simultaneously. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so this poll is.
Sir, we can't see the screen, but we can hear you.
No, I'm just giving you the link of the poll. So that in the chat box. Whatever question you have, you can also put in the chat box. So this is a link, we will be using it. Just go to the chat box and here is the link. And then the room number is Dubey 8740. There are 4 or 5 questions that we will revisit at the end. Okay. So there are a few questions about what is your field and technology and all that. So we will take I will speak for about 30-35 minutes, and we'll leave around half an hour for discussion, okay, and asking question and answer. Returning back to my thread of the discussion, so we talked about the tumultuous times here, which are difficult times, but basically this is the time which we need to fight, okay. So first we have to recognize you cannot solve any problem unless we recognize that these are difficult. We can't just gloss over that, everything is hanky-dory and nothing will happen to me. I am very powerful, or I am very, my immunity is very good. So it is the time for innovate, and then choose what you want to do and what you want to do, okay? You must fear from danger, especially this health front. We are all need to protect our health, whichever place we are, whichever stage we are. We need to take care of our health, because this will become very problematic for us. So we need to do something. There is no option of doing nothing. And this is something which is just a culmination of where the technology's role keeps coming up. So I will start here a little bit of discussion about technology, how technology has evolved. And you can see, and I'm referring to some of the figures from the book here. So basically, we are talking about the Industry 4.0, Innovation 4.0, Fourth Industrial Revolution, which is called cyber physical system, where man and machine will work together. Very simple example. Earlier, if I had to drive, I used to start my car and just because I live in Delhi, I lived in Chennai several years ago, so I knew the locality. I don't have to ask for direction. And for for few years, I was okay. What is Google Map? Why do I use Google Map? I know how to go. But later on, I realized that if I use Google Map, at least it starts predicting me the traffic jams. And then it can help me find the alternate route. So what is this Google Map? Google Map is a AI-enabled device or tool which we are using it to predict the traffic conditions, and accordingly I can inform, or I can share my trip to my family that, look, this is how I am traveling, where I am stuck up, etc., etc. So Google Map is not a replacement of my knowledge of direction, but it is helping me to execute what I wanted to do. So as you can see here, the first industrial revolution was the steam engine for mechanization. The second industrial revolution was electricity, mass production. The third one which happened is about computer digitization. But today, this cyber physical system is that there are 9 technologies which have become very, which are driving this change. Okay. And the left-hand side is the technology, corner bottom is the cloud computing. So this cloud computing is enabled the easy access of computing resources. For example, this Google Meet, we are using it. This is not in the cloud. We have not made any, none of us have made any investment in any server or bought any license. Maybe some organization would have bought some license of Google email or something. But otherwise, this is available and then pay for use. Many of the things in the cloud is free or freemium version where you pay for advanced features. But they provide them for the larger goods of the society. So the cloud computing is the fundamental one. This is the diagram which I have drawn is on two ordinates. One is the technology capability or technology prowess, and then the social prowess. How much change we require in bringing about the social change. Both technology and process change will come. But don't take any meaning that why it is second, why it is third, it should be second, it should be third.
Sir, you are unmuted.
You are on mute.
You are on mute. Please unmute. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Now.
So I'll go back to the earlier chart where we started. Maybe I was muted here. So we are talking about the industrial revolution, fourth industrial revolution, which is a cyber physical system. I gave the example of Google Map, which has become a tool for us to decide about our easy traffic and the and traffic conditions and how long it will take. I can share my devices very simply. What is the difference between a Uber ride and a normal taxi, which we can get it from the taxi stand? Well, a lot of difference because both of them may be the same car, Wagon R or Swift Desire. But when we hail something from Uber or Ola, I am aware of the driver's rating. I know that this driver is verified. I am also aware of how much money, how much charges I will have to pay. Maybe I will pay it from my Ola Money account directly, and also I can share my trip with my family in case I am landing up a new city. I don't have to worry about which car I should hail. So what it has given, this technology has given us a trust and ease for using the new type of services. Of course, this service of hailing a cab or a ride has been age old, but this have made changes in the business model, or they have created a new way of aggregator model for doing things. Okay, so all this are basically we are talking about 9 technologies, and if whatever emerging technology we have to study, and these 9 technologies will have to be considered as to what are their impacts on the various parts of our business. As you can see, the education industry is one of the industry which during the lockdown, there are 2 or 3 industries which had some major transformation. Education is one of them. And in education industry, what has happened is that there was one choice. Since the people cannot go to the classroom, one choice was that we give the waiver for 1 year, 2 years. There was talk going on. But the authorities as well as the teachers and faculty, all of us got together and then we moved to online classes. Maybe this is not the 100% replacement, but after a year or so, I can safely say that this replacement has also got many, many good features. Okay. And it was prompted the Birla Institute where I work to launch an online PGDM program, which we have got students from 5 different countries. Okay, and India being the 6th one. Of course, the larger part is coming up here. So there is an opportunity of using the technologies, blockchain, robotics, AI, ML, IET, and IoT and IIoT, industrial IoT, mobile and wireless communication. I will not go into detail because this webinar is short. All that is being covered in the various chapters of the book. You can go through it. I will tell you now as to what is leading to this kind of accelerated change. And this accelerated change is explained by these 5 laws of new IT. Okay. The first law is called Amara's law, which is defined like this diagram here, which says that emerging technology perform less than expected in the shorter term, but they perform more than expected in an almost exponential fashion in the longer period. So let's say the growth in technology over the period of time, let's say 5 to 10 years, it will be slightly slower, but over 15 years, it will be going exponential. As you can see, this use of video conferencing, the tool like this. Okay, last 1 year, I think every day we are attending some webinar or something without any glitch. Not that this technology was invented in the last 12 to 14 months. The Skype was there for 15 years. The Google Meet and all that were there for many, many years. But these technologies have become more perfected, and these are being explained by the other 4 laws. The first one is the Moore's law, which says that the power of chip and its miniaturization doubles every 18 months. The Gilder law says that the same thing happens for the bandwidth every 6 months. And Metcalfe law says that the power of the value of the network is equivalent to the square of the number of people connected. So if the network has got 4 people, the power is 4 to the power 2. But if it is 5, it is 5 to the power 2. So if you look at these exponential thing, that is where the exponential is explained. The last one is, I mean, these are all published things which you can look at. The book has got some more details here. Hale-Varian law. Hale-Varian is the chief scientist of Google, who is supposedly given the idea of monetization from the search engine. And he was earlier with a Stanford professor or some MIT professor who was hired by Google. I wish someone of the company can hire me. But what Hale-Varian says that if you want to predict the usage of the technology, something which the rich people use today, which is very costly, will be used by middle income group in 10 years and almost everybody in 20 years. Now, if Jeff Bezos and the Virgin founder, okay, have gone to the outer space today, maybe 20 years later, this outer space going will be like buying a local ticket in Mumbai or Chennai or Delhi Metro. Okay. And I can give you a very simple example, which all of us are aware. 20 years ago, buying a mobile phone used to be only meant for higher income people, because incoming call was 8 rupees, outgoing was 16 rupees. By the way, the mobile phone, the Nokia mobile phone, 6110, which was a very heavy one, was costing around 15,000, which was a lot of money at that point in time. Today also you can get a reasonably good, decent phone in 15,000. So this explains you the Moore's law, Gilder's law, Metcalfe law, and so on. Okay, we have all gone through the mobile revolution in last 15 to 20 years. I have been part of somewhere to help the mobile revolution in India as part of the IT project director for IBM for Airtel for about 7 years, from 2004 to 2011. And that's how we saw how the phenomenal growth has taken place. The prices started to go down. So remember, these 5 laws explain the phenomena of exponential growth. So this is a one-way street. Okay, there will not be slowing down. It's only for us to decide whether we want to catch on this bandwagon or we want to remain passive for watching it. Now, I will try to explain you with this chart here. It's again part of our book here, which says that how this change can take place. Does the change happen to everyone? Mr. Mohan talked about the established companies. The born native companies like Google and Amazon and Netflix and all are taking advantage, or Uber. But what happens to our existing companies, our automobile companies, our pharma companies? How can they take advantage of these emerging technology? So this chart will help us explain. This is again a theory which I saw a lot of registration was and question was from the faculty and students. So this explains this is taken from Venkatraman and Anderson model, which he explained in 20 years old article, Evolutionary and Revolutionary. And I have added these two, transformative and disruptive, because this pertains to the internet economy. So what is the degree of transformation and benefit to the firm? It depends upon how much transformation or change I will bring in. That's how the benefit will come. So you can start with the automation, which can have just replacing the technology for the existing way of doing things locally, or you can integrate the entire organization. Then you can have better data transfer and so on. You can go to the next stage where you can do the process innovation. For example, bank opening up ATM machines. It's a process innovation where the earlier way of withdrawing and depositing and printing passbook can be eliminated. So it's a process innovation. You can go to business model innovation. Business model innovation is the way you are charging the customer. Most internet companies or the e-commerce companies, they start with what is called a freemium version. So they will give you a free access for limited feature, and then you add up more. Now, most of these websites, YouTube, for example, YouTube does not charge us for any loading of the video or watching any video, but they earn money through the advertisement. So this is about the model innovation. You go to the next stage called transformative. When you are changing it, your business scope gets changed, okay, and where you are adding new features. For example, IRCTC started selling airlines tickets. So it was supposed to sell only railway tickets. Now they are selling the airlines tickets. Okay, Paytm started as a mobile wallet. Today it has gone into becoming a Paytm bank. So you can change your scope. You can add Paytm Mall and something like that. So you can change your scope, and finally you can be the disruptor of the ecosystem. Something like the Uber and Ola has done that, or Airbnb has done that. Without having to create an asset, they are running successful travel company, and then they are running successfully the stay, hotel industry. Okay, their valuation is more than the Marriott's valuation of Airbnb. So this chart basically tells us, this reminds us of, for me to share, that this kind of metamorphosis can only take place with an example of caterpillar to butterfly. So in the interest of time, I will not be showing that video, but just go and watch in the YouTube, and you will notice that how much struggle the caterpillar has to take to transform into the butterfly. Okay, because it has been born as a caterpillar, so it has to take a lot of effort to transform, and that is something the organizers have to do, because our future success depends upon our current success. And what happens is that our current success becomes the enemy of our future success. Because I feel that I am very good at whatever I am doing today, so I will not like to change it. Many companies have made that mistake. People like our BlackBerry or Kodak, and even Nokia is said to be resisting the change because they were very good in the feature phone, the market leader in the early part of the mobile revolution. So this is the 4-stage model, Venkatramanan model multiplied by me. Ultimately, whenever you are leading any transformation, you have to worry about the 3 things. Very simple 3 things. What are the 3 things? We are all talked about technology, but unless we change the process and people, we will not get the digital transformation. We might end up with automation, we might end up with process improvement, digitization, but it will not be a digital transformation, holistic change which can take place. For example, I come from the education industry. The education industry has to change their way they are teaching. Okay, just teaching it in a front of a camera like I am giving a speech without understanding. Today I am not teaching you. I'm giving a seminar address, and I don't have too much of time. But if I'm teaching to the class, I have to stop every 5 minutes, ask question, do some activity, and so on. Even today, I'm trying to do some activity to take your feedback. So basically, post-COVID world, okay? Post-COVID world is, there are 11 predictions, which I picked up from the Forbes article. More and more contactless interface will be used, like voice interfaces and machine vision. The digital infrastructure for working from home, anytime, any place, that has to come into place. Better monitoring use of IoT and big data for early warning systems. It could be disasters, like you can see the climate change taking place, lot of landslide is taking place. All that needs to be monitored by using their technology. The AI-enabled drug development, the effective and safe drug development and vaccine to prevent COVID-19. There are a lot of changes that are taking place in every industry. I teach a course which talks about the use of emerging technologies in different verticals, and almost every technology, the industry vertical is going through this change. The car is having more onboard computer than someone at home, okay? Because the entire the control system of the vehicle, especially the upper end car, and their maintenance schedule, the performances, and all that is being tracked through GPS and so on, and that has led to the driverless car. Okay, those development is culmination of all that use of technology. So the other things are predictions are about the telemedicine. We have all been users of the telemedicine in the last 12 to 15 years, 12 to 15 months, because we all found that it is better to stay at home and then consult the doctor over Procto or some of the telemedicine tool, Apollo 24/7 or something, than go to the OPD ward and get infected for COVID. And now it has become popular. Okay. Increased reliance on robots, delivery of goods, healthcare, and factory running robots will become more and more important. Not going old way of polluted vehicles. So we'll be using more and more electric vehicles in the future to come. Employers can monitor the workers. Educational system will move online as far as possible. It will save a lot of money. It will save money on rent and real estate. And if at all there is a physical activity, it will be restricted to 50% or 40%. But even then, the student may be at home, some of them, and they might come to the campus only occasionally, because this is the way the things are going to work. So finally, I will summarize the top technology trend by Gartner. The Gartner say these are the 9 technology trends, and they have been divided into 3 major areas: people centricity, location independence, and resilient delivery. The people centricity is that something related with the people, like Internet of behavior. My behavior on the internet can be combined together and my persona can be generated. Total experience strategy. All companies have to worry about the experience they are providing to the customer, to the employees, to their suppliers, and all those people. And finally, the privacy enhancing computing. As we know that more and more our online activity is happening, the more and more we become vulnerable for our digital footprint, which can be manipulated. So the computing needs to have a ability to right to forget and things like that. Secondly, the location independence, which does not mean that I should do all my work through at a proper at a designated place. We can use distributed cloud, anywhere operation, cyber security mesh, or going to the resilient delivery, because ultimately the infrastructure has to be resilient, and you will have to use hyper automation, AI engineering, and intelligent composable business. So all that is this. You can go and read a little bit more in the Gartner site, and there's a beautiful article here, just to give you some insight here. So it is leading to what is called a new collar worker. So all workers, whichever designation you are, whether you are a finance manager or you are a HR manager, all of you have to become a tech manager. Okay, so you need to know the technology, you need to know your function, and that 3 functions, as I told you, people, process, and technology. So basically, all the 3 you need to have. Then only you will become useful. As it is estimated that 85% of the jobs in 2030 have not been invented yet. So how do I prepare students for 2030? The students who are in +2 or who are in class 8. So that is where the role of our academicians like us have to come, where we have to continuously visualize what technology are going to come in the future and what are their impacts and what kind of knowledge and skill we provide to our students. So bring the people, process, and technology thinking. Every time you implement technology, think of the process, think of the people aspect, and you can use this approach for implementing technology, which I have encapsulated in 5 vowels: assess, experiment, innovate, operationalize, and upscale. Okay, so you have got 1 iteration, then you go to the 2nd iteration. Shorter the loop, better will be the results. Fail forward. Don't try to wait for all that what you have, all the requirements. Just try to launch a small. Even if you want to do something small, you want to have just chatbot installed in your office or something, that is good enough. I take classes for my Delhi University Executive Program, and some of my students may be here. Many of them are doctors and working executive of very, very senior one of them. But when I teach these tools to them, many of them come back to me that, sir, we have got it implemented. Because we don't have to worry about perfection. We need to worry about experimentation. Are we experimenting it not? So find out a technology, find if it is a useful one, experiment with it, innovate and implement, operationalize and optimize, upscale and upgrade. Last year, when the lockdown was announced, I started training my fellow colleagues, and I'm happy to share with you that I taught over 400 faculty in 5 universities. Okay, and all I did through my own personal give back to the society, because I felt that as someone who is maybe a centimeter ahead of in this area as my other colleagues, maybe I should share with them maybe a drop in the ocean of the knowledge to help others start using it. So with these words, I will come to my last chart. It says the innovation cannot take place just by one sector. It has to be a combination of government, industry, academia, and civic society. We have to follow the quadruple helix approach, where all of them have to continuously support each other and then do the innovation. In the book, I have created a lot of short stories, okay, and the learning task, which I call it SALT, stories and learning task, and there are several of them. So it might be useful to the students and all the professionals, that it provokes you to think about how the implementation has been done. I talk about Baiju, I talk about Apanjan, which is a mobile application in Bangladesh, and Nano Ganesh. So all that are very, very unique innovations which have been done, because innovation is all about the experimentation. If you experiment, you try to see what is good for the society, what is good for the community, then you will end up. So this is the technology will help us to create new job opportunities. It is, you can see here that while the job losses are taking place in sectors like hospital, hotel and others, the new jobs are being created in tech sector. The IT industry is hiring more. The healthcare requires more job. So people have to reskill themselves to take advantage. So I think I have kept my time in terms of the schedule. And I will stop here, and then we will go back to some question answer, and then anything which comes up.
Thank you, Professor, for your excellent lecture. Now, I will read out some of the questions we have received from participants, and you can give the answer to all the questions.
Right.
What about student studies in future due to COVID-19?
Student studies in future. So student studies will be with there are lot of positive scenario. One of the positive scenario is that the immersive technology will become more and more prevalent, and the research is going on, which means that you can have the AR VR headset, and you can do that immersive technology. You can do the experimentation without really having to go to the lab. In terms of the lectures are concerned, the lectures, the method will change. It will not just be one-way lecture. I gave a talk in the Birla Global University this morning only about the technology. It's not about giving. After all, it is the active learning you have to promote. We have to give incentive to the students to do some self-learning, self-experimentation, and not just rote learning where somebody is giving lecture and that content is being revised. Because the content is already available everywhere, in the Google. You don't have to discover that. If you can motivate the students to learn something of its own, that will be the biggest advantage.
Thank you, Professor. The next question is, what are all the advantages and disadvantages in educational sector due to this emerging technology and the innovation in post-COVID world?
I see only advantages, because one can innovate their way of delivery. The only, I will not say disadvantage, but the challenge is that our students, many of them who come from a poor section of the society, they may not have access to technology. They may not have good internet connection. So all that there are different mechanisms to be thought. Okay, I know of an experiment going on, which comes in the television. Akash, the Akash which has Akash tutorial which has been purchased by Baiju. What they are doing is that they are giving lectures through television. This is something which used to happen in 90s by Doordarshan and IGNOU. Something similar has to be done where you are giving good lectures to the television, but you are giving a small mobile phone for question answer. So you can combine these two together and you can really transform the education. I think amongst the other sectors, the education is the one which is poised for this kind of transformation now. Now it is for we as an educator, all of us as a student, we need to put our act together.
Thank you, Professor. The next question is the current economic situation is similar to that of World War II?
I don't know. No, I'm not an economist.
Yes,
but that situation was because of different region. Maybe they say that something similar is happening. But I'm not competent to answer this question.
Okay. Next question is, sir, how to provide in-service school teachers training for changing new technology for teaching learning?
All right. So there are a lot of free training available. You can go to the British Council, and if somebody wants, I can give them some link. The internet world, all technology companies have opened up their doors. Okay, you go to the site called Ellison. Okay, you go to the site OpenSAP. You go to the site of IBM, Microsoft. They're all giving you useful videos. I learned a lot of new technology of education by watching the YouTube video. There are videos in Tamil and Hindi and others who explain how to do the better teaching. The prep industry have come out with Khan sir and all that. Maybe these people are doing it by just using their the mobile phone. They don't need anything significant. I have watched many people who say that, look, I just use my mobile phone for conducting the class, and they used to write on their paper and they have kept the mobile phone camera like this. So it is not that there is a lot of training is required. My take is that experiment. There is tons of knowledge available in the internet and Google and YouTube, and you can equip yourself. It is only the desire. Remember, unless you have the desire, you cannot achieve your destination. Desire is the only driving force.
Thank you, Professor. Next question: do you think that the innovation always comes with its corresponding security measures? What is your suggestion for this?
Okay, there is not all innovation. Innovators don't think about the various risk factors. But you can say the same challenge to the inventors of atomic energy. Okay, because when they discovered the atomic energy, it also created a risk factor. Okay, so initially it was thought that it will be the replacement of the electricity, and then it will be the source of power. But few accidents in Chennai and Tokyo and other places in the Japan created this problem. Steel also is a good innovation, and it helped us to create buildings and all. But most of the guns are made out of steel. So every innovation will have its short-sightedness, and then one needs to worry about those risk factors also.
Thank you, Professor. Next question is, how do you see digital acceleration during and after pandemic?
I see it is accelerating. It is accelerating, and my question, which I will share with you, I have stopped using currency. Okay, I rarely use currency because neither my vegetable vendor receives currency, nor my medicine shop receives currency. I pay my big bill online. And so is education. We spend a lot of time using technology to teach our students.
Thank you, Professor. Next question: how can we emerge technology and innovation in healthcare sector?
Healthcare is the biggest beneficiary of this time. Healthcare and education, and the third one is e-commerce. But the most penetrating innovation has happened in the healthcare. Where else you will get a vaccine research in 12 months time, okay, and released in the marketplace? It has all happened because of the underlying technology in doing it. There are 3D printers are available which can print tablet at your home. You don't have to go anywhere, or the implants in your body which you want to put in. Okay, the ball joints and socket joints. So all these are innovation in the healthcare itself. A lot of innovation. Robots are being used for medicine delivery and then surgery and so on. So healthcare is a major beneficiary.
Thank you, Professor. Next question. How technology can be more leveraged in infrastructure sector post-COVID-19?
Actually, infrastructure sector, if you are referring to real estate, bridges and so on, so there the use of technology is how to make them more efficient, how to make these construction and everything very easy to do, and then also use it for other sectors which are supported by infrastructure. If you are meaning the infrastructure as the telecom infrastructure, this is an enabler for emerging technology. Because without telecom, we can't do anything.
Thank you. The next question is, how can information technology can ensure sustainability for itself as well as for other industry business?
So there is a concept called green IT, which the concept means, I think one of my appendix in the book is about green IT. It talks about IT can be used for two purposes. One, to make the rest of the world green, and also to create the IT as green. So cloud is one initiative which has reduced the consumption of accelerated the use of computer devices and so on, with efficiency in the computation. So we don't have to deploy so many computers. And then the second is that if I am using an efficient supply chain, in that case I am saving the environmental pollution. The Google map, which example I gave you, what does it do? Not only it helps me to travel faster, or it also helps to conserve the fuel. So that is the one simple way of using the technology. Third is that I see here 117 people attending this conference. Just think of it. Suppose this conference was being held, or this seminar being held in Sanmukhanand Hall or some other big hall. Okay, how many of us would have traveled to that place? Okay, so now this IT is saving all these, helping the sustainability.
Thank you, Professor. The last question is, what is your view about virtual reality growing in healthcare sector?
So virtual reality is used in healthcare for primarily training the medical professional to a large scale, and you can go to just search the. Yesterday I did some presentation in the IMT Ghaziabad and about the healthcare. So you can see and then modify and change the inners of the body by creating the virtual reality imageries. So this is something which is largely used in the healthcare. You can also be watching the remote operations which is done through virtual reality. You can participate, and maybe you can help your colleagues in the other hospitals and so on. So healthcare is a major beneficiary of the. There is a site which I will just type into you. Just type in technology trends 2021 in healthcare, and your site will pop up, and it will give you about the major 10 technologies which are impacting the healthcare. And let me just search for you. Technology. So I'm just typing this link, and there are several sites. Okay, somebody has beyond European agent and all. You just have to utilize some of them to get to know about it. Remember, the most important part is not only you should know about what is happening, but pick up one idea and implement in your hospital. Pick up one idea and implement your clinic. Pick up one idea and then train to your students.
Thank you, Professor. These are all the some of the questions. Thank you very much for your answer and excellent lecture. Now I invite Dr. Priya Vijay, Chairman, Computer Society of India, Chennai chapter, for the formal vote of thanks. Priya Vijay, madam.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, madam.
Good evening, everyone. I took immense pleasure in providing vote of thanks for all those who have attended the webinar on emerging technology and innovation in post-COVID world. I provide my sincere thanks to our speaker, Shankar Dubey, for his excellent innovative ideas, what he have given us, and also the links through which we can learn more. I thank our associate partners, ACM Chennai chapter, Mr. HR Mohan, IEEE CS, Dr. P. Sakthivel, and also our all along associative partner, PHI Learning, Ms. Shivani Garg. I thank all our present, past office bearers, present and past senior members, and present and past MC members of all three professional societies, CSI, ACM Chennai, and IEEE CS Madras chapter. I thank all the participants who have participated enthusiastically and be patient enough throughout the webinar. Once again, I thank everyone for attending this webinar. Regarding the upcoming events, we have a webinar demystifying CI/CD and DevOps by Sridhar Panduranga on 28th August from 6 to 7:15. The link is given in chat box. And we also have a webinar on Beyond our ERP's Next Gen Technologies by Sandeep Desai on 11th September 2021. It's also given in the link, and the invitations has also posted to all our members. I welcome you all to attend the upcoming webinars. Once again, I thank you all for attending the webinar. Thank you, Dubey sir. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Take care. Good night. Be safe. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would also like to thank our author, Dr. Sanjiva Dubey, for such a lovely session and for agreeing to my request to spare some time for this webinar. Thank you so much, Dr. Dubey. And I am also very thankful to Mr. Mohan and Mr. Sakthivel, Dr. Priya, Dr. Akila, and Dr. Subramanian to help us in organizing such webinars in association with Computer Society of India, IEEE CS, and ACM Chennai. Thank you so much.
All the
Thank
best.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
So now you can log out.